Hello, it's Jack here at System Trader, and in this very short video I'm going to explain you what the backfill mechanism is in my application. Let's imagine that you would like to test a simple portfolio or even more complex portfolio, it doesn't matter. But just to have a simple example here, I will use classic 60-40 portfolio in which we have 60% of S&P 500 stocks, ETF for example, and we have 40% in fixed income 10-year government bonds. If we go into the details of that portfolio, we can see that in fact we have two ETFs, IVV for S&P 500 in that case, and IEF for 7 to 10-year treasury bond. The trouble is that if you would like to make a test with that ETFs, backtest with that ETFs, you will be able to go back into history by 10, 15, 20 years because our limit is in the ETF data here. Whereas, of course, we could normally backtest it much further, but the ETFs were not existing at the time. Therefore, for the time which is covered by ETF, we just set here these ETFs, but we can also put into the backfill the data which is built into the application, which is going back much further what ETF would allow us to do. And if you click here and go to System Trader group, you see a couple of tickers for stocks, for commodities, for bonds, and so on, which goes back even to the beginning of the 20th century. And in that particular case, we see here I set S&P 500 total return, and I set bonds, 10-year government bonds for IEF. And these two tickers are able to go back even to 1920. And once the data from ETF is available, the simulation will, in runtime, switch to the ETF data, and we will be able to make a much more extensive backtest. And as an example, if you press all here and test, I already did it to save some time, we can see that our classic 60-40 portfolio could be tested from 1920 to the last session day in 2021, because for the last years we were using ETF data, but obviously in 1920 no ETF was available at the time, therefore we were able to using our built-in data. And this is all about backfill, and I think it's very important to know, especially if you take that simple example here. You have 40% of bonds, so if you would go back in history just only for 10 or 15 years, that's not enough, because first of all, in the last 10 years, S&P 500 was really in the very strong bull market. But also we had the era of decreasing, falling interest rates, which were helping the bonds. So in order to see how bonds were behaving before or in the era of rising interest rates, you would have to go beyond 1980. And in that case, you can see how it was performing, for example, between 1940 to 1980, when the interest rates were increasing. That's all from my side. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.